What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. Now, before we get started with today's video, the road to 200 subs has now come to a close, and we are now 183 subs away from hitting 500 subs. And if you guys are new to the channel, and I know that a lot of you guys are, because practically 100% of you guys are watching the content, but you guys are not even subscribed. So if you guys are watching the content, you like the content, and you want more of the content, but you guys have not subscribed as of yet, then be sure to subscribe to the channel. Turn on, excuse me, turn on the notification bell, smash that thumbs up button on this video, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And I want you guys to post in the comments below answering the question of the day, which is this. Who would you guys like to see get signed to WWE in 2025 and in 2026? Let me know down in the comments below. And for today's video, apparently WWE has been interested in signing not one, not two, but nine superstars to WWE, and some of them might just shock you. So I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm gonna get straight into it. As a bit of a disclaimer, this list actually came from Wrestle Talk. So big shout out to them. No copyrights as always. Obviously you guys know of the YouTube algorithm. Shout outs to Wrestle Talk. I've actually used their site a few times, several times over the years for my content. So again, big shout outs to them. Not trying to get copyrighted or anything, but big shout out to them. So first one up is Mayu Iwatani. Now for those who are not familiar with her, I've seen a few photos on social media of her matches in the ring, and not only has she been a part of promotions such as excuse me, like promotions like such as Marigold. She's also been a part of the promotion known as Stardom, which is where women like Julia, Kairi Sane, and of course Io Sky had actually competed in. Obviously Io, all three of them competed in Stardom for a very long time. And apparently Iwatani had confirmed that she has decided to not renew her deal with Stardom, and it's gotten fans curious if she could potentially be getting signed to WWE. Excuse me, which is very possible. But as far as like what brand I could totally see her in, 100%, it has to be NXT. I know that someone out there will probably comment saying, "Oh, wouldn't she be better on WWE Evolve?" Yeah, she would. Yeah, she could. But that brand is mostly for up and coming stars and for WWE ID prospects. Where as opposed to NXT, that's where like the bigger stars and they end up staying for a while before making the move over to the main roster. Interestingly enough, Roxanne Perez and interestingly enough, obviously both of them are actually both Roxanne Perez and Julia. Funny enough, both of them are now a part of the Monday Night Raw roster supposedly, because we had seen them on Raw ever since the Raw after WrestleMania. They've been showing up practically every single week. So I think I think just that alone proves that they're both a part of the Raw roster. But as far as Iwatani goes, 100% and NXT. I mean, the talent that she could go up against is incredible. Fate, Jordan Grace, Fatal Influence, uh, Ren Sinclair, Nikita Lyons. Who else can I think of? Ren Sinclair, I mentioned. Jada Parker, Thea Hale. There's a lot of talent that she could potentially go up against if she got signed to NXT. Next up is actually 2-1. Shiloh Hill and Jasper Troy. Both of them, interestingly enough, are a part. I believe are now in the finals of the very first season of LFG, and interestingly enough, both these guys are good. We've seen Shiloh Hill and Jasper Troy compete on NXT Level Up. At some point, I think right before the show had shut down, we saw them on Level Up sometime within the last couple years, before the show got discontinued, and they're good. They are incredibly gifted, and we've seen them on WWE LFG over the course of the last couple months. Actually throughout the entire first season, and they could make some excellent signings to the NXT brand, which is possible, but we don't know exactly which one of them would end up getting signed. Me personally, I would love to see Jasper Troy get signed, mostly because I feel like he has the mentality of guys like Booker T, The Undertaker, and even also women like women like Michelle McCool in a way. In a way. He's got the speed of the Undertaker. Actually, the speed and the power of the Undertaker, the strength of Booker T, and the agility of Michelle McCool. So wrap all that up and you get Jasper Troy, literally. Shiloh Hill kind of reminds me of a combination of John Cena and JBL in a way. He kind of reminds me of that in a way. So again, both of them definitely would make excellent signings, but we don't know exactly who would. Me personally, again, has to be Jasper Troy, in my honest opinion. Next up, and I believe I already talked about this one already, but Joe Hendry. Already, this guy has already become the talk of the entire wrestling world on social media. Not only having competed in the men's Royal Rumble match this past February, but also competing at WrestleMania last month. Having challenged for the NXT title a couple times, competed in a Battle Royal last year in NXT. This guy literally said, anytime, any place, any show, it don't matter, I'm there. And not only that, but think about this. Think about this. A week from this Sunday, will be Battleground, and for the first time ever in professional wrestling history, the TNA World Title will be defended on WWE soil, is huge, which is huge. And we found out that Joe Hendry's contract with TNA is supposed to expire at some point in the next. I think it's supposed to be the next couple years or so. So when that happens, he admitted that he wanted to be a part of WWE at some point. So it's possible, but we'll have to wait and see. Next up is a team, but is a team that go by the name of the Texas Outlaws. I'm referring to Wayne and Wyatt Rhodes. So I think it's pretty obvious who their father is, and it's not Cody Rhodes. I can guarantee that right now. It's not Cody. It's not Cody Rhodes. It's Goldust, Cody's brother Dustin. It's Dustin's kids. I don't even think I need to say anything. I mean, to be able to have another set of Rhodes in, compete in WWE would be huge. And I will say the fact that these guys are related to Cody Rhodes as his nephews prove that these guys have it. Like these guys are absolutely incredible, and apparently they had a dark match last year in 2024 in AEW, and then of course excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, I think I'm good. And then at some point earlier this year they had another dark match in Ring of Honor, as well. I mean, to be able to have gained experience time, with every show that they do is proof that we could definitely see these guys in WWE. Honestly, I would rather see them on Evolve. As crazy as it sounds, a definite first start has to be Evolve, because if it's not Evolve and they end up being put on the main roster or put on NXT, no, not trying to offend Cody in any way, shape, or form, but I don't think it'll be long before they end up getting released, which is very, very possible. Next up is Mariah May, and apparently Miss May has been a part of AEW for quite some time as their women's champion, and apparently she had suffered a loss to Timeless Tony Storm. Again, I don't watch AEW. Just again, as a disclaimer, I don't watch AEW. It's not watching that competition. That's not my cup of tea. I am being completely honest right now. This is just from what I'm reading here on my iPhone, and then of course, from what I've seen in photos and clips on social media. But again, Mariah May suffered a loss to Tony Storm at a AEW uh, event called Revolution, and apparently rumors had spread that she is she will be WWE bound sometime later this year. There's been rumors that her contract with AEW has come to a close, and now WWE is on the verge of signing her, but we really don't know if that really is going to happen. Speaking of Shiloh Hill and Jasper Troy, excuse me, the final two on the women's side, Xena Sterling and Tyra May Steele. These, for if you guys have watched LFG like I have throughout the entire first season, honestly, I really do not believe, and I'm saying this wholeheartedly, I truly believe that Tyra May Steele never should have made it to the finals. If anything, I feel like it should have been either Lee Laurel, um, Panina, or P Nasty as she calls herself, or Danny Sikelski. It should have been one of those three with Xena Sterling in the finals, because I feel like I feel like with Tyra May Steele, she made so many mistakes throughout the first season, where as opposed to Danny Sikelski, Leigh Laurel, and P Nasty, they rarely made mistakes. It was a rare occurrence to see them make a mistake, but for Tyra May Steele to be in the finals and not them is a travesty. So I feel like if I feel like Xena Sterling definitely has what it takes to make it to NXT and get signed with NXT. Tyra May Steele, she's there will if she doesn't win and Xena does win, yes, there will be more opportunities for Tyra May Steele to get signed with WWE at some point. But I don't think this is her time. If she wins this Sunday, I will be very surprised. Next up is actually a group on Evolve that we had seen since day one, and they go by the Vanity Project, who obviously I am referring to Brad Taylor, Bryce Donovan, Jackson Drake, Ricky Smokes, and Zeta Steele. Obviously, Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes, obviously known as Swipe Right, as they call themselves, which is very stupid. Um, and then Zeta Steele were actually names that have been brought up more, that have been mentioned multiple times, as far as obviously in regards to the WWE ID program, and they are most likely to get signed with WWE at some point. But as far as like Bryce Donovan and Jackson Drake, it'll be a while. It's gonna be a very long while before we see them get signed with with WWE. But as far as Zeta Steel and Swipe Right, I could see them on NXT, but it would be a long time before they end up on the main roster. Next up is Callum Newman. Apparently, he's been a part of New Japan Pro Wrestling as he is their IWGP Tag Team Champion. The hell? There we go. Okay. Sorry guys. Sorry guys. My phone kind of was acting weird. Anyway, um, obviously, for those who have not heard, like I haven't heard until just now, Callum actually became actually held the IWGP Tag Team titles with a recent signing from Backlash this past Saturday, Jeff Cobb, and apparently apparently um apparently Callum has continued to hold on to the tag team titles with another member of the faction known as the United Empire, with someone by the name of Great O Khan. Now, obviously, we know that Jeff Cobb had just debuted in WWE this past Saturday, literally last Saturday at Backlash, as Solo Sikoa's hired gun. It would make perfect sense for Callum to make his way to WWE at some point. But I think SmackDown, in my opinion, would definitely be a good fit, just because of the fact that SmackDown is more suited for the young guns, and also for those who never really got a whole lot of opportunities in WWE, whereas opposed to Monday Night Raw, that's where the bigger guns are in WWE. So it's very possible we could see Column in WWE, but only time will tell. And now for the last one is Kylie Ray. We've seen her on WWE Evolve over the last month or so, having having a few like really big matches on Evolve against women like Callie Armstrong, and of course her most recent rivalry with Wendy Chu. And for her to be right now, she's been established on Evolve as one of the biggest baby faces on Evolve, where as opposed to the Vanity Project, they've been established as one of the biggest heel factions in a WWE, kind of similar to with Gallus, because with Gallus, when Gallus was first formed on NXT UK, they were basically the biggest. They were arguably one of the biggest heel factions ever in on NXT UK. That was until Imperium showed up, in which case Gallus ended up becoming the big babyface faction, and they were massive babyfaces when when NXT UK was allowed to air live episodes of their brand, not just on the WWE network, but when the network got shut down and they moved over to Peacock, that was when they started to air live episodes every Thursday, and Gallus was huge. They were massive baby faces right then and there, and then of course obviously moved over to NXT, and they just wrecked shop. They were dominant in NXT, and then moved over to Evolve, and they sort of became baby faces, but there were quite a few that there was like, no, these guys are heels. Nope, these guys are heels. There are also a couple of honorable mentions that I do want to bring up. First one up is actually a very interesting one, in the form of former NXT North American Champion, the Velveteen Dream. Now, if you guys are not familiar with the Velveteen Dream, he got released from WWE in 2021. Um, for some really weird reasons that I'm not allowed to say on here. But I will say that apparently, I guess the charges were dropped, and I guess he's been working the independents for a little over a year now, and he's been pretty active on social media, begging WWE to to bring him back. But it comes down to the big question of, should he really come back, right? Should should we see the Velveteen Dream back on NXT? And I think yes. I think 100% yes. Because of his fan base on NXT, he was one of the biggest stars, on that brand, having become arguably one of the greatest North American champions ever in history, having have held the title for at least I think it was what 163 days or something. Let me see. Here we are. Let's go here. Let's see. If I remember correctly, I thought so. I thought so. So the Velveteen Dream held on to the NXT North American Championship for 209 days. So right there was the longest reign. That was I believe that is the second. I believe that is the second longest reign. Or sorry, no, actually that is the third. The third longest reign in the championship's history. I believe the second longest reign is Wes Lee with 269 days, and then Obafemi is at the top right now, with 272 days. So for Velveteen Dream to have the third longest reign as NXT North American Champion proves that he definitely knew exactly what he was doing in the ring. His ring skills were good. His mic skills were on point. It was his attitude that forced WWE's hands, telling him, "Hey, you got to go." But I feel like from what we had seen on social media, it seems like that he's changed. He's different now. Maybe now would be the perfect time for WWE to bring the Velveteen Dream back to NXT. And then another one is actually a diehard NXT fan, Izzy Moreno. If you guys remember Izzy, she was basically Bailey's number one fan. And one of the most notable moments that Izzy had in NXT was NXT TakeOver The End, where I believe we saw where it was Sasha Banks versus Bayley in the first ever women's Iron Man match for the NXT women's title. And as Sasha Banks took off the Bayley can't speak, the Bayley headband, Izzy's just started to bawl. She was bawling her eyes out. She was so upset, and that was like that was a huge moment for her, for Izzy, because that was the night she knew she wanted to be in WWE. Now we know she literally is technically a part of WWE as part of their new ID program. So we could definitely see her on Evolve at some point, and then make her way over to NXT. And imagine the ultimate dream match: Bayley versus Izzy Moreno. Think about that, guys. Think about that. But honestly, aside from those two, those signings, I could 100% see it. Vanity Project, we've seen them on Evolve for quite some time. They're basically with WWE at this point. Same thing with Kylie Ray. So we don't really know who else we could see get signed. Could be Kenny Omega. It could be Will Ospreay. It could be anybody. It could literally be anybody. Hell, for all we know, it could be Britt Baker. For all we know, only time will tell. But with that being said, that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more WWE topic videos in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail if you guys want to send me fan mail. And you guys want me to open it up on here on the channel, all the info will be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.